everybody. It's Dirty Thursday, brought to you by River City Speedway. Greg Josie, Seth Klostreich on the show today. Tara Klostreich, I apologize for pronouncing your kid's name wrong all these years. I was close. Anyway, it's going to be a great show talking about these with these Wissota Street Stock drivers. I can't wait. Other half of the Bullring Boys, Chad Hoff, couldn't make it today. What's new, right? He's a busy man. Anyway, our show today also brought to you by Executive Properties. Are you still putting off that project around the house that's been bugging you forever? Do you think you can wait until spring and call a contractor and have the work done ASAP? Well, good luck with that. Executive Properties has openings right now to get that project done. In fact, you can check out their Google reviews. Aaron says Chris and his team did a spectacular job on the damage to my aunt's garage and siding. Kept us up to date on the progress, and the finished product was amazing. Thank you for your professionalism and hard work. Hey, get that project done sooner than later. Call Executive Properties, 701-330-1273. All right, and thank you, everybody that's already tuned in and watching. Chewy Jeff Cornos, good morning from the beautiful southern Minnesota. Hey, Chewy, how you doing? Nick Curtis, good morning, all. There you go. Boy, I tell you what, if you have any questions or comments for Greg or Seth, 701-213-0863 is our number, 701-213-0863. Let's do it. Let's get it out of the way. Every day we do this. It's called Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me. All right, here we go. Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me. You know, if I ran NASA, it would be mandatory for the ground crew to be dressed as apes when the shuttle lands. Don't you think that'd be funny? I want to do that. I'm gonna make everybody dress as... No? It sucked right over his head. All right. You know, you land from space on the space shuttle. You open up the doors and everybody's dressed like apes.
Oh, Planet of the Apes.
There you go. Okay.
I haven't seen the movie yet.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. Okay, coming up, we got a lot of things to talk about. First up, let's do our track schedules. Dirty Thursday's track schedule brought to you by Forks Karting Association. Tell you what, you can watch the kart race on Wednesday nights. They ran last night at Forks Karting Speedway at the Grand Forks Fairgrounds. You can find out more about FKA, Forks Karting Association. Just go to forkskartingassociation.com. And our track schedule is nothing. How's that? River City Speedway rained out tomorrow. Those races are canceled. Saturday, Devil's Lake, they were off this weekend. That was a planned deal. And same with Buffalo River. So nothing around here. In fact, we'll find out from these guys. They're probably going to be, if they're racing, traveling quite a bit. Let's see. Coming up also, if I can get this on my phone tonight, folks, there's that benefit for artist Ben Breen. He's battling stomach cancer right now, and they're going to have a benefit for him tonight from 5 to 8 at the VFW in East Grand Forks. I just talked to his brother Chuck. There is going to be some incredible stuff there in the silent auction. In fact, Ben, as we speak, is working on something for this thing for tonight. Taco in a bag, free will donation, silent auction, including original artwork by Ben. Again, at the VFW in East Side from 5 to 8 tonight. It's going to be a great time. It's join us and support and help Ben Breen, or Bennett as we call him, in that fundraiser tonight. And also coming up in celebration of our 200th Dirty Thursday episode, we're going to be having a good time on the 6th, all right? We're going to try to set up our studio. We're going to be on the move. We're going to be at River City Speedway. We're hoping to do our 11 o'clock Dirty Thursday show there. And then, of course, the big party at the Broken Drum. Wes Irwin, Living Like Outlaws, along with World of Outlaws, us, the Broken Drum, River City Speedway. We're having a big bash to celebrate our 200th show. In fact, we're going to set up there and be broadcasting live along with our Forks Sports Highway show. They'll be live from the Broken Drum, but put together a little something for that party, and let's see if we can play this. Hey everyone, John Roberts here, half of the Bullring Boys, to talk about Dirty Thursday, brought to you by River City Speedway. Thursdays at 11 o'clock on Grand Forks Best Source. Anyway, it's been a great ride. Such a great ride that Grand Forks Best Source is about to celebrate the 200th episode of Dirty Thursday, coming up on June 6th in conjunction with the World of Outlaws Don Mack Classic at River City Speedway. Now, we're going to be live from the Bull Ring, and then that night, join us for the Living Like Outlaws shindig at the Broken Drum right down the street from the track. It's a chance for you to meet World of Outlaw drivers, local drivers, and Living Like Outlaws Wes Irwin. The Bullring Boys will be broadcasting live on Grand Forks Best Sources Dirty Thursday, and you will not want to miss out on this great day. Listen to Dirty Thursday to find out more, and we'll see you on June 6th. That's the first time I've seen that. Nice job, Dale, the producer, doing a great job putting that together. Nick Curtis is chirping in already. Great win for both of these guys the first 2 weeks, and let's talk to both of these guys. First off, to my left, welcome, everybody, Seth Klostreich. How are you doing?
Doing well.
You know, I was always told that it's Klostreich, and I don't know who told me, because at first I think I started Klostreich, and they said, no, it's Klostreich. Klostreich. And now you finally just told me today it's Klostreich, and you actually said, actually, my mom told me to tell you that. So again, Tara, if you're listening, I apologize. From now on, it is Seth Klostreich. I want to know a little bit about you. I know you've been in the studio before, but I don't want to hear anything about racing right now. I just want to know about Seth Klostreich. What makes you tick, man? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Family.
Yeah. Good answer.
That's right. Married to my beautiful wife. We call her the controller. Mandy is her name. We have
Controller?
a little guy, Gunny. He's 4.
Oh, cool.
And soon to be 5 in July. And then Camden, or I guess he'd be 8 and some change month old.
Wow.
Great kid. They sleep through the night, so
man.
everybody's getting along good.
Yeah. 2 boys.
2 boys.
Oh, that's worth a round of applause right there.
Yep.
How long you been married?
Was married January 28th of this last year.
Okay,
So,
okay.
Year and some change.
Yeah.
Known her since end of 2020.
Okay. And she knew what she was getting herself into?
She mostly.
Mostly?
Yeah, actually, was pretty set on the racing at that time, and it's crazy how things change. I've actually had some weekends here recently that I've been less interested in being at the racetrack than spending time with the kids, and I think it's actually made the racing a little more fun.
Oh, yeah.
Having them with. So
now, are the kids to the age then, do they like going to the track, or do they rather stay home, or how does that all work?
Gunny loves it. He likes his lake time too, but all winter long he kept asking, when's the snow going to go away so we can go racing again. He certainly loves it. So.
Oh, good. Zane Mickelson, I don't think Mandy still knows what she got into. Jared Lundaby, keep getting the winners on. We've only done a couple of races this year, so it's hard to get too many more winners in here. But anything you do besides racing, what you got any hobbies? What do you do all winter?
Well, I like ice fishing a lot. This last winter was the first time that I didn't go ice fishing, and pretty much
I didn't get to either this year.
Didn't trust the ice. Like playing softball and such. I'm just a sports guru. Our little guy, Gunny, he's a 4-day-a-week sport kid already.
Sure,
He had soccer on Monday and skating on Tuesdays and Thursdays and basketball on Wednesdays. There's pretty much no time. We joke our next free weekend is in like 2028.
Oh, yeah, yeah, you wait. I know. Now, I got grandkids the same age as your kids now, and my kid was a sports guy. We went all over the country, all over the time, all the time for that. But I'm going to tell you, like I tell Chad, Hop, enjoy it while you can, because before you know it, they're going to be sick of you. And besides, grow up and move away. But that's so cool. When it comes to time, is he a hockey kid then too?
He is. I was a wrestler growing up, so
it
was a little bit of a hard pill for me to swallow. But
yeah.
He loves everything except for that right now, and just want him to do what he likes to do. So.
Okay, because when he gets up to that age, it's either going to be hockey or baseball. Yeah, well,
can't do both.
Or basketball.
You can't do both.
Yeah. Well, God, that's awesome. All right, I want to hear a little bit about you, Greg Josie. Tell us about yourself. First timer in the studio.
Yeah. Not a whole lot to say. I do a lot of work, I guess. I like in the winter shoot some pool, and I played hockey for the first time in 100 years, I guess, this winter.
Yeah.
I found out how out of shape I am, really.
Are you any good at pool?
I try to be.
Do you shoot leagues or anything?
Yeah, I shoot leagues.
Okay,
on
here in
Thursday.
Grand Forks?
Yeah, Thursday nights.
Okay,
so.
who's your team? Give them a shout out.
Oh, we're out of the long haul. It's shock and awe. So Seth tends to show up once in a while, I guess. And we got Dave and Darren and Chase. So.
Sure. I got a brother-in-law. They're out of Thief River. That team that comes and plays from Thief River, they're pretty good. I know. That's why I quit shooting pool. Because of him. He's too good. Heather McDonald, just glad Seth finally has a good girl. Al's watching. Well, it's Seth Klostreich. Steven Ader Olson. Tell Greg I'm up for a set or two. Jason Berg. Oh, yeah, pool player. Rob and I already can't see yours. You're going too fast. People are already texting in real quick. All right, let's talk a little bit about this year. Guys both won a race this year. Tell us about your night.
First night of the season. Actually, been lucky enough the last 2 seasons to win the first night out, and I can't seem to win at Grand Forks any other time during the season. I guess been lucky and had a front row starting spot, and that's kind of the you can only go backwards from there. And track was heavy and fast and rough and all things.
Oh, it was rough.
I enjoy all those things, though, so
yeah.
it doesn't bother me. And had a good challenge from Cole Gresseth at the end of the race, but he raced me super clean. Switched engine builders to them this winter.
Okay.
To Quality in Fargo. Kevin Robertson, shout out to him. He does all the assembly for me.
Yep.
So it was 1-2 with him and I, and super fun to get a sticker. That's what we're doing it for.
Absolutely. Now, do you get all jacked up when it's the first race of the year and you go, wow, man, look at that. I already got a win under my belt. And then you just said, I suck basically at River City Speedway, but rough track, hard track, you got raced clean, which is not easy to do in a rough track, but does it get you all jacked up thinking, or have you been playing this game long enough to know, man, I got one, enjoy it while you can?
You definitely have to enjoy them. There's, it's you get frustrated when things don't go well, but there's a lot of people that I race with that haven't been lucky enough to even have one feature win. So
I know.
You really have to embrace it. I get super nervous. It doesn't make a difference if it's the first race or the last race of the year. I am god awful nervous. It's just the way I am. But when you get in the car and get strapped in, I think some of that goes away.
Yep.
But I'm a worrywart.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me, and I apologize for stepping away all the time, but I'm trying to keep up because we've already got more texts in here than I'm used to having it this early in the show. I know I already missed Mason Aaron's one. Steven Ader Olson, I missed yours. Nicole Lancaster, hi, brother. Lindsey Hansen, YouTube, one-on-one. Who's winning and who's spitting who out? I'm going to ask you first. These are questions they're asking me. You're racing him one-on-one, side by side. You're going to rub paint. You're going to spin him out. You're going to put him in the wherever.
There's been a time where Seth wanted to rub a little bit, so I rubbed him right back. No big deal.
This almost sounds kind of wrong.
Yeah.
Seth rubbed me first, so I rubbed him back. But you guys are both, I mean, I've been doing this long enough to know now that when you hear about guys, you hear things under people's breaths and you know what I mean? I don't hear any bad things about you guys. Would it get dirty or would it just be a little bit of rubbing?
Oh, I mean, I'm not going to put him in the wall. You know, we both spend a lot of money on our equipment.
Right.
Very expensive to replace.
So now what happens when I ask him the same question, and if he says, "Oh, absolutely, I'd put him in the wall," would you?
I wouldn't put him in the wall, but if I had a chance to rub him on the last lap to win a race, I can promise you I would, and then he'd give it back to me the next week. So.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be. Are there people, you don't have to give any names, are there people, though, that if you were side by side coming out of turn number 4 on the last lap that you would put into the wall if it came for the win? All it needs is a yes or no.
No.
Okay, good answer.
I'll run anybody clean as long as they run me clean.
Sure, that's exactly what we like to hear. Heather McDonald, neither one of them are dirty drivers. Justin Brunk, loved the wrap on Seth's car, made it my son's instant favorite. You should bring Grand Forks' best source to Red River Kart Club. Steven Ader, that would be fun. That's Monday, yeah. Looking forward to racing with you guys soon. Dustin Evans Steiner. Dustin finally has his car done, Heather. I'd put Seth in the wall for last. Brendan Grover. Yeah,
I believe it.
Why doesn't that surprise me, Brendan? We talk about this year. First off, with Greg, 7 features, 1 win, 5 top 5s, 5 top 10s. Won at River City Speedway for only the second time. Have you ever figured out how many races you've raced at River Cities?
All of them.
And how many years have you been running?
Well, my first race was back in '05.
Okay. So you
And,
damn near 20 years.
well, there's a few years off. I'm broke kid, can't afford
Yeah.
to put a car together. So
Right?
probably been racing full time since at least 18 anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't missed a show in Forks. So
Now, how cool is it? You finally get that second one. Was there a party in Greg Josie's pits that night?
well, we got rained out. So
Oh, that's right. You had to clean up quick
Yeah.
and get the hell out of there.
yeah.
So did you meet anywhere and have a party?
Oh, we went to the long haul and had supper, and then ended up at the Bun, and
The
then
typical after race
then-
Friday night stuff.
Then ended up at home somehow. I don't know how. But
As long as you made it. Casey wants to know where are we racing this weekend? Lindsay Hansen says Wild Rice Bar. That's a good one. Also, we've already had people talking about us about the win. You got yours right away. You got yours. I kind of got lucky here. I first wanted you on the show because I knew you'd never been on there. And I said, bring somebody else if you want. And this is 2 times in a row now because I had asked Brody Troftgruben last week. I said, hey, you can bring somebody else with, thinking it'd be a pit guy or something. And he brings Jade Hastings. And I'm thinking, wow, that's odd, but that's really cool because they both won. And I thought maybe the same with you, but then you brought him in, and this is like all working out just perfectly. So now I got to bring in, I'm going to get Jory Berg coming in next week, and he's going to bring in his new protege in next week too. So that's going to be fun. McKenna's going to be in here, the rookie. He's been helping her out. So, we're starting out the season with all winners, and I like that. But already, you've already run quite a bit. Considering it's so early in the season. Had any, besides the Grand Forks win, how's your season being as early as it is? How's it been going?
I would say way better than any other year I've raced
Okay.
so far.
Uh-huh.
Just if I finish, I'm in the top 5 somehow. I don't know how that's happened, but been lucky, I guess. I'll take that over anything.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I did pull out all the stops, brought in a voodoo witch doctor to bless my car.
What's her name? What was his name?
It's Sarah.
Okay.
No, she's one of my sponsors, and I don't know what she does, but apparently she made my car not break and whatever else. So
Yeah.
I'll take it.
You look at last year, 42 features, no wins, 10 top 10s, 10 top 5s, 3 top 10 or 3 top 5s, 3 top 10s, or no, wait, 10 top 5s, 29 top 10s. You put that together with all of those features, 42 features with no wins. Do you get frustrated? It's like, you're close.
Yep.
And we all know that there's so many things that factor in to get the win. But how do you assess the year when it's done with a year like that? It's still a good year, but you didn't have any wins.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do? Do you at the end of the year, do you sit down and go, we need to change something up. Let's see what we can do in the off season. Or you just say, well, that's the way it goes.
Oh, I just enjoy racing. So first or last, I'm having a good time no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
As long as the car's together and I don't have to spend a bunch of money getting her fixed up for the next race.
Sure. And a lot of people don't realize that. It costs a lot of money to do this stuff, and you're not getting rich when you do win. That's for sure. Stephen Ader, Jory Berg, sorry I wasn't in Glendon last Sunday. Sarah, haha, all the witchy for Greg. All the witchy. Seth Klostreich, this year 3 features, 1 win, 3 top 5s, 3 top 10s, 32 features last year with 4 wins, 21 top 5s, 31 top 10s. Would you consider that a successful year?
Yeah, it was a good year for us last year, and by the nature of I raced Devil's Lake full time. Love the facility.
Yeah, I do.
I don't travel like Greg does. Now with a growing family, we're done now. We have the 2 boys, and that's it. But it's super busy. So I'm not going to be on the road like a lot of these guys. I loved it for a time back in the Travis Robertson days.
Sure.
We did that.
Yeah.
So a lot of the, I would call stiffer competition wasn't at Devil's Lake last year, but they're going to be this year. Was a fun time and a good summer, and didn't have a lot of damage. That's the biggest thing,
Yeah.
kind of like he said.
Yeah.
So it was assessed as a super good and fun summer.
You know, I've been fortunate enough to call a couple dozen maybe races at Devil's Lake, and I don't think I've ever been there when there was a night where the track wasn't good and it was bad racing. It was always good racing, good, clean racing, and the show is, you're in and out of there. It's a great show, and it goes by fast. We're talking about so far this year, and we talked a little bit last year. We've got more to talk about, more stats. All of that is coming up, but it's time to take a little break here on Dirty Thursday, brought to you by River City Speedway. Greg Josie, Seth Klostreich in the studio today. We'll be back with more. Remember, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to text us, 701-213-0863, and we will be right back after this. Life doesn't ever seem to slow down. Everything needs to be done right now. Well, when it comes time for an oil change, stop into Valvoline Instant Oil Change. You know, most changes are done in about 15 minutes. Valvoline Instant Oil Change does more too. Tranny and coolant flushes, tire rotations, and batteries. And included in your oil change, they're going to top off your fluids. Check your tires, battery, lights, wipers, and cabin air filter too. And you get discounts for fleets and the military. You know, they can text and email invoices and coupons and mention Grand Forks Best Source and get $10 off your oil change. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. They're open Monday through Saturday with no appointment needed. Pickup and delivery is also available if you live in Grand Forks. And Valvoline Instant Oil Change is now hiring. If you'd like to join their team as an assistant manager, customer service rep, or lube tech, stop in to find out more. Valvoline Instant Oil Change for a complete oil change and more. They're at 3325 South 38th Street, or call them 701-780-8462. And make sure you tell them Grand Forks Best Source sent you. And we are back, and what a coinky dink here on a Dirty Thursday, brought to you by River City Speedway. Greg Josie and Seth Klostreich. Now, Seth was just telling me how he got his start racing, and at the same time, Stephen Lewis texts in and says, make sure to get them to tell the story how Greg accidentally started Seth's career. And this is really cool. Who wants to start? Because this is a great story. Go ahead, you start.
Well, we show up to Devil's Lake, and it's raining. We're going to get the race in, and then it was too wet to get her going. I showed up to race, so I unloaded the car, got her out, started doing a little hot lapping. Probably put 10, 12 laps on the car, and then sitting there talking to Seth, I was like, you know, you've wrenched on these things. You've ever driven one? Tells me no, so then he hops in.
Woofda.
How'd that go?
It was super fun. I shouldn't admit this, but of course we were up at the bar. I probably had a beer or two.
It's the only reason why I don't hot lap cars.
Yep. So, you know, Greg had about 5,000 pounds of mud on the car, and he thought I should try it. And
Yeah.
About 2 or 3 laps in, I got the car stuck between turn 1 and turn 2, right down by the Uke tires. I had no shoes on, so I was barefoot. But I remembered I had my cell phone in my pocket. How am I going to get out of this mess? So I called, and I heard from the background, I don't know if it was Brian Johansson or Greg, just gun it. So I did, and I got out, and a few weeks later, I had a race car of my own, and yeah, Greg is an expensive friend.
Yeah.
So
Now, you'd mentioned that you'd wrenched on cars before. Did you help out other racers? I mean, you did know your way around a street stock race car or not?
yes, I raced with Travis Robertson.
Okay,
for
sure.
all them years up here, and he's still racing. He has a late model and a stock car now.
Yep.
Loved it, but just didn't know if I had some neck issues and didn't know if I could afford it. But I can't afford to not do it now.
Yeah. The neck issues still there?
They're still there. Nothing major, though.
Okay. I've had a neck surgery, so I'm just wondering what you're going through and all of that stuff. Now, you kind of get him addicted to this crap. It's like a drug. We all know that. Did you help him out at the beginning? And do you help him out until they beat you? Or do you keep helping them out? Or how does that work?
Seth knew more than I did.
He did, huh?
He didn't need no help.
Yeah. Because you'll hear a lot. People will help until you start beating up on them, and then they're like, okay, I don't need to help you anymore. That is a great story. Great story. We talked a little bit about last year and this year so far. I want to talk about points. River City Speedway, Seth, you were third. Greg, you were seventh. Devil's Lake, you were the champion, I believe, last year on the track. Greg, you were 12th, but you don't go that much to Devil's Lake, or do you?
I was running Greenbush a little more last year.
Okay.
I ended up 7th there as well, and then Glendon 7th.
Okay.
So a lot of 7s.
Shame with Greenbush this year.
Yeah.
I think that's a great racetrack. World of Outlaw trailer was there that night. Not sure what that means. Maybe you guys do. Anyway, now you guys still running the same equipment you did last year. And how long have you had this car?
This car is 4th year on this one. Yeah, same. Just a little minor tweaks to the engine. I think we got a little more into this year now. So.
And how about you, Seth?
Yeah, same car. Bought it from a guy in Wisconsin. It was Jake Fromke's car.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Super well he did with it, and the only thing different this year is the motor program.
Okay. Jeff Liebrick, more than dirt boys. Oops. LOL. Dale, the producers, joining in. How did go at FKA last night?
It was a big learning experience there yesterday. We're experimenting with live streaming there yesterday, and of course, we had a few technical hiccups here and there. I got the play-by-play worked into the live stream, so that was pretty good. That was a big step up from last year, and got to talk to a few winners afterwards for some interviews. I know Jalen Ross got her first feature win after 3 years in over there, so
cool.
Big shout out to her. But
Yep.
yeah, good fun night after. Yeah, they had a rain out last week, so this was their season opener yesterday.
Okay.
Good times.
Seth, we were talking about the kids and sports and all of that. You knew the question was probably going to come up. Are we going to see these kids kart racing, or let them decide, or have you already thought we'll let them do what they like doing and not worry about that?
I was pretty gung-ho about it from the get-go, but I've watched a couple pretty tough wrecks with these young kids, and even up to the adults. So I'm not saying no, but I would kind of hope that I started an adult. I started when I was 30. That's where my number came from. He's got lots of time, both of them.
Oh, yeah.
So unless he's twisting my arm hard, which I think I could be convincible, but at this point, hopefully not.
World of Outlaw trailer was in the Devil's Lake parking lot. The show, it rained out. Okay, and they were laughing at us, laughing at Seth stuck on the track.
Boo.
Oh, all right. Now I forgot what the hell I was going to say. It was something about the kids, but anyway.
I have a kid-themed question for Seth. I think for kids, they absolutely got to love your rap this year.
Thank you.
Yeah, I could throw a picture up here in a little bit, but what was the big impetus for leading you to go with the good old Heroes in the Hash Shell for your car this year?
Well, I don't want to get on my soapbox too much, but I think this is a good opportunity to do it quick. My little guy, Gunny, I guess the oldest, his father was a police officer who was killed here on May 27th of 2020. And my idea was that, it's my responsibility now to raise him, love him.
Absolutely.
And his first couple years, he liked Paw Patrol, so we did Paw Patrol. This year, he decided he wanted Ninja Turtles, Leonardo to be exact.
Oh, yeah.
And so we decided to switch it up. Jeff at Custom Stripes did an awesome job working up the rap for this year. So what he says goes. Super cool. And I think this is what the sport's all about, is for the kids. If you want this sport to grow, I wish more people would do it, to be honest with you, because I get lots and lots of kids that come up that they don't have to like me or how I do. They just care that I have a driver card that has something that has kids theme on it. So.
And we talk about this with all the drivers that come in here, and I'll ask you first, what does it mean to you when the kids come into the pits? Because like Seth says, that's our future. I mean, that's our future at River City Speedway or at all these local racetracks. But were you one of them little snotty-nosed kids that just loved going into the pits? And how fun is that for you?
Oh, I loved it when I was a kid. My dad raced back when he retired when I was 7, and I remember being mad.
Yeah.
Like, you can't quit.
Damn it. And your kids, they come in, or, the kids in the pits, and how many of them jump inside that car for picks?
There's lots that ask for it. This year, it's only been 2 nights, and the second night was super wet, so we haven't had a lot of opportunity. But as the year goes on, it seems to be more and more kids come and want to do that. So
now, you guys have been both running street stocks for a long time. Have you ever thought about jumping to a different class, or are you happy with what you're doing now? And if you did, what would you race?
I have no interest in switching. It's a class that I know. It's super competitive. minus a couple people, pretty much everybody gets along.
Yeah.
Rubbin's racing a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the most competitive classes. It's expensive, but it's not to the dollar amount that it costs to be competitive in some of these other classes.
Yeah,
So,
well, I mean, this is the affordable class, right? No,
quite.
there's no such thing as an affordable class anymore, is there?
no.
And 15 years ago, street stocks might not have been as fun to watch, but like you said, very competitive. When you guys show up there, it could be one of 10 people on any given night that could win at these tracks. That's how competitive it is. Josh Barker saying, show off that shirt, Seth.
Yep, pretty nice, isn't
There
it?
you go. There you go. and what do you do for a living?
I work for Bridgestone. I'm the store manager of Tires Plus. Coming
Okay.
up on 16 years. So
Oh, wow. Wow, you've been there a while. So maybe that's why Chad didn't show up. There's the competition.
that could be.
Yeah.
That could be.
And Greg, what do you do?
I'm a superintendent over at Mac Construction.
Okay, and you can see he's sporting the Mac gear on there too. So, and how long have you been in the construction business?
Let's see, about 28 years,
28 years. How old are you?
38.
Okay, and how about you, Seth? How old are you?
How old am I? 35? I'm at that age
That's
where
you-
I have to do the math.
Oh, wait till you get to my age, dude. Can we look at that wrap? Or
Yeah, let me get. I think I had it up here. I'll get it in one sec.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Heck yeah. I love it, and it's the old school like '80s, early '90s turtles.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Exactly.
Now, can they? And this would just be stupid, but the way this world is going now lately, there's never a problem with like copyrights or any of that kind of stuff.
I kind of wonder that at times too. But I've asked a few questions to a few different people, and there's outlaw late model guys and Lucas Oil guys that do it. Like Bobby Pierce had the Scooby Doo on his car.
Yeah.
And I actually had messaged him, and he replied, believe it or not, and
Wow.
he said, as long as you stay with the same, you don't change it and add something to it or subtract something to it. All you're doing is just laying it on the car. So I hope not.
Yeah, and are you getting rich off the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, like negative a lot.
Right. So okay, Greg turns 39 in July. God, Jeff Liebrick, when I was 7 years old, Mom took me into the pits after the show to see the Flying Swede, Dwayne Anderson, and I got to sit in his winter late model number 94 and even gave me his trophy from the dash that night in 1969, long time ago. And right there, the seed was planted for Jeff Liebrick, who's been going to the track every Friday night since 1969. You guys wouldn't know anything about that. I was 4, actually. All right. Do you have a dream track? Is there a track, like if you got Dirt Vision or anything and they're racing on this particular track that you cannot miss, you have to watch, and that you would love to race at?
Eldora.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. Why?
High banked. I'd love to race at night. You see all the action at that racetrack. I think that or Bristol, those would be.
Oh, sure.
On dirt would both be super.
Yeah, Bristol would be
cool.
pretty cool. How about you? Is there a track in your book or your mind that it's like, one day I'm going to go there?
Nothing in particular. As long as they're racing streets, I'll show up. you know?
Yeah. And will you stay with a street stock, or have you ever tossed the idea around about jumping into a different class?
I've always wanted a late model, but I can't afford to keep up with them boys. So I'll stick around streets for a while.
Yeah. So besides him, did you have a lot of help not you, but vice versa? Did you have a lot of help when you first started racing the streets, or did you mentioned your dad had raced years ago.
Yep.
Did you know enough about it, or did you just kind of go into it blind and asked for help and hoped?
When I first started, I started with Uncle Steve, and we kind of tag teamed the car a little bit. I'd wreck it, he'd fix it.
You love that give and take relationship. I reckon he fix it.
Yeah, and then it was just one of those. I was sick of sharing, so then I went and bought my own. He went and bought his own. So then we had a third car. And that's how I don't know if anybody remembers Tommy Neihart, but that's
Yeah.
how he got his start.
Yeah, another one of those names that's not spelled like it's pronounced.
Yeah.
And it was like Newhart or something the way it's spelled. Tara, that's my boy. So proud of Seth, not only for his racing, but how he loves and takes care of his family. And again, Klostreich. About there you go. Now Greg wrecks it and lets it sit. That's according to Josh. Is there a race on your, and I don't know if you guys just kind of, I mean, like this weekend, obviously everybody's playing it by ear. You don't know what's going to be open, where the rain's going to hit, where it's going to miss. But is there a race on your calendar, and do you get your schedule figured out before the season? But if there is a race that is circled big on the calendar, what would it be?
The Sites weekend. It's on my birthday weekend,
Oh.
September 8th. So I take that whole week off, and in years past drank a lot of beer and
Yeah, the whole week.
Forgot
Nice.
about but that's the Greg program, isn't it? Right? Yeah, we liked it's so much more than the racing.
Yeah, and do you just keep everything out there for those entire 3 days? So there's not a lot, unless you got to go fix, I suppose.
Yeah, I've been lucky that I haven't had to leave for any fixes in the last 4 or 5 years. So
And how about you? Is there one on your calendar?
Not anything in particular. I enjoy the sites, of course. Went to Rice Lake last year for the Little Dream, and I had a lot of fun there. It was too bad we just drove there and raced and drove back.
Yeah.
So more driving than racing.
Yeah.
But, I'd like to make a trip out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe next time if I can go. But
Now, when we look at the bull ring, and some people call it a quarter mile, some will call it a 3/8, depending on if you're at the top or the bottom. But is there anything you prefer? Do you like the bigger tracks, smaller tracks, or I'm not really sure with the street stocks. I mean, with the gearing and all of that stuff. But is there a track size you prefer?
like I said, I like them all.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a fun time down in Fergus. We get going on them long straightaways. So the speed is there. I've been to quite a few different tracks, and I've really just enjoyed all of them. So it's hard to point out a specific one, I guess.
Sure. How about you? You got a one that you prefer?
I like both of our local racetracks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little bit biased towards Devil's Lake. I've had more success there. I like how it's wide and you can run the top or you can run the bottom. It's never for us is the track narrow.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, there might be a lane that's faster, but you can race in more than one spot. And I really don't like follow the leader racing. I'd rather, Dustin Strand, I think, coined it, that he'd rather go backwards racing in a different lane than everybody else than play follow the leader. So,
Sure. Oh no, that makes a lot of sense. I never ever looked at it that way, and that does make a lot of sense. Everybody seems to remember, at least the fans remember the good days or the great days on a race car team or a driver. But a lot of the fans don't tend to remember the bad days of a guy in driving a race car. But I want to know your best day in a race car and your worst day.
Most of the time they're both on the same day.
Yeah.
Josh Barker and I were actually joking, or he was joking with me the other day about how he wishes that he could put more good laps in a row together. And it's such a fun sport. I think your best days are the days you win, and the worst days are the days you come home with the car in 37 pieces.
Yeah.
But to his point, we're super lucky that we're able to do this. There's so many families that have to think twice about being able to go to the movie theater.
Yeah,
so
right.
As I've grown up and matured a little bit, I've learned that even the bad days are 1,000 times better than most people's best days are. And that probably is why he likes going to every racetrack. It's a way to get your mind off things.
Yeah, well, that's true. Have you ever had that wreck that, you put you in the hurt tank for a day or two?
I-94, the first Wissota 100, I was able to make the feature. And on the back stretch, there's a wall all the way around the racetrack, and there was a couple cars that on first lap of the race they got sideways, and it piled about 15 of them us up, and I was on my side, car bent to daylights. It was destroyed. I love that racetrack and the speed, but the speed is also a little bit nerving too because there's nowhere to go.
Do you prefer a wall all the way around the track,
No.
or do you like River Cities where if something happens, you can always go off?
At least if you were to roll off the top of the track, you've got some room
Sure.
for the car to keep moving. instead
Yeah,
of a
and
dead
not that
stop.
dead stop, because
Right.
it's the quick stop that hurts. People
Yep.
don't realize that.
Yep.
A lot of these rolls, it's taking away inertia and all of that, and you just got to go through it. But yeah, then you get the black eyes and all that stuff. Seth, you wrecked pretty good in Jamestown a few years ago. Season opener at Devil's Lake in 2023 was one of the best finishes of the year for streets. The coveted 5-wide racing picture in corner 3 of Devil's Lake. Okay, I'm going to ask Greg now. Same question. You have your best nights and your worst nights. Do you have a best night, and do you have a worst night on the racetrack?
Well, I mean, you were going through some stats earlier. You missed a few of mine from last year.
Oh, okay. I'm going off of
Well,
my race pass.
4 engines and 7 transmissions.
Oh yeah,
last
they
year,
don't say
so-
those stats. Okay.
So
4 engines.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the deal? Was it just a string of bad luck?
that's just my luck, you know. Just if I turn a lap on Grand Forks, it just feels like there's something there chasing me, ready to pull something out of the car or something.
So what do you tell yourself after 3 engines and how many trannies or rear ends or whatever? What do you tell yourself in order to stay motivated?
I don't know.
I mean,
I enjoy. I'll go broke racing,
okay.
and I've done that before. So
Okay.
I just have that kind of passion for it, I guess.
Sure. Pretty scary wreck in Fergus.
Yeah. My right front broke, hit the back wall, and car found the opening where you exit the track, and then stalled there. And then I believe it was Justin Vogel that came around. And no yellow flag, and he whacked me pretty good. That was a couple years ago.
Sore?
That one hurt.
Yeah, yeah. I can remember back in Buffalo River, years ago they used to run an enduro series there, and I had this '76 Charger SE that I had built into a car. It only had 318 in it, but God, I used to do pretty good in it. And I remember getting hooked up with a car, and I tried to shake him off on a stalled car, and he did some move, and next thing you know, I'm stalled at the end of the front straightaway going into turn 1, passenger side, and right when I looked over, I got T-boned. I mean, just freaking smoked, and it bent. And I had plenty of roll bars and steel in that car, but it bent the passenger side all the way to my shift lever on the floor. And you talk about getting a neck jolt. I had a headache for about a month after that one, but my car, it looked like this. It was so bent. You should have seen how fun it was trying to get that thing on that damn trailer. Zane Mickelson, Greg, you had bars from Vogel's back clip stuck in your car. That must have been a hard lick.
It bent the car pretty decent, and he was tore up pretty good too. So yeah, that wasn't pretty, I guess, but
Okay.
we were both running the next week, so
Sure. We're changing things up a little bit. Wait, Heather says, can I have your broken transmission parts? I have a meeting the middle of June, and in total Heather fashion, I have the desire to prove a point. I'll leave a tote for broken tranny parts in the rear gate building. There you go. I want to ask, and people have been asking me this, we try to pride ourselves on Dirty Thursday for not always being about just exactly racing itself, but some of the stuff behind the scenes and all of that. But when you're in the shop working, or when you're in your car or whatever, I don't know if you're a music fan and you're listening to music, but what does Seth Klostreich listen to?
I like everything. I'm kind of a country music guy.
Okay, I was going to say you're probably a country guy. Classic or this new bro pop country stuff?
Older stuff. 80s rock I like too.
Oh, sure. 80s
So,
hair rock. Oh,
yep.
man. Yeah. How's Greg's back feel?
sore.
Okay. What'd you do?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. What about you? What do you listen to? Do you like music?
I like music.
What do you listen to? Anything in particular? Or are you all over the dial, too?
I'm a little bit all over the place. Typically, I'll have KJ on the radio in the
Yep.
truck, or if I'm driving more than an hour to a racetrack, I'll just have comedy running.
Okay.
But if I'm in the shop, I'll typically have some 90s rap or some
Okay.
country or something.
Yeah. According to Tara, I think Seth wants to sing some Garth.
Absolutely not.
Karaoke bar it up.
Sometimes late at night. There we go. No matter how the night goes for Greg, I always see him riding his little four-wheeler with a smile and a drink in his hand. And, is that what it's all about? I mean,
yeah.
is that your fun time? Is that your smile never going to leave my face as long as I'm at the racetrack? Kind of get away from everything?
For sure. I mean, I put up with enough stress and just every day-to-day thing. You get in the car, do a few laps, and, it's a nice reliever, I guess.
Sure.
And then just enjoy hanging out with everybody else at the track,
I'm going to tell you this right now, Seth. Next time with the big win, back in the pits, after we're all beered up, we're going to sing some Garth Brooks duets.
That sounds good to me.
I'm a big Garth fan. I got to meet him years ago. He's a pretty good guy.
John, it was interesting you brought up asking about favorite music. So just to kind of piggyback off that, do you have either of you have a favorite movie themed off racing? Because when you mentioned earlier about driving backwards, I couldn't help but think of Talladega Nights there for a little bit there, and Ricky Bobby's debut race. So do either of you have a favorite movie themed around racing at all?
I think Talladega Nights is mine.
Oh, yeah. How about you?
Stuff.
Just last Halloween, I dressed up as Ricky Bobby when he was on fire.
Oh, perfect.
Ricky Bobby. I want to go back to the music again. Baseball, Major League Baseball, professional baseball, college, whatever. When you were getting up on deck and or up to bat, you always have a walk-up song. If you could have a song for every time you're introduced on the racetrack, when you go on the racetrack, what would your intro song be?
Oh, boy. Maybe Kryptonite.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, Three Doors Down. Yeah. How about you?
I guess I wouldn't have one. Welcome to the Jungle, maybe.
That's another good one.
You know.
Yeah, those are both good choices.
Just a typical song, I guess.
Yeah,
Crowd pleaser.
yeah. Oh, they are. They are. Both good tunes. Who helps you on your car?
A lot of people. I do like doing a lot of my own garage work, but my cousin Zane's, I would call him my crew chief, does a great job. He came over yesterday during the day. I was at work in the morning and started doing the tire work and checks things over. He's able to do a lot of the things that I don't like doing. So super nice. My dad, Mandy, she even comes out in the garage. She'll pump brakes.
Oh, really?
She absolutely hates getting in the car, but she'll do it.
Well, that's because you got to crawl in and yeah.
Yep.
Okay, how about sponsors?
I'm just gonna grab my phone and make sure I
Yeah.
don't forget any. So first off, gotta thank my wife, the sugar mama, Gunny, Camden, Zane. Hello to the guys at Tires Plus who might be listening right now. Thunder Road, ID Automotive, Deitzer Electric, All for Learning, Child Care Center. That's where our kids go to daycare, and Gunny and Cam's aunt. A new one this year, PS Garage Doors. Thanks, Josh, for coming on board. The Right Spot, as well as a new one. Thanks to Tom Montgomery. Daily News, Backstretch Promotions, Tires Plus, Firestone, my grandparents, Klostreich Farms. I should thank Aberley Racing, Mac Tools, Casey's Bar, Barker Racing, the Holties. I put the Blue Line deal on the back of my car, and he came to me with some cash this year and was thankful that wasn't necessary,
Right.
super cool that he did that. My parents, Mandy's parents, so Tara Glenn, Tim, Sandy, thankful to Greg and all our friends and family that are willing to help out. It's a super helpful group of people that we race with. So,
And where would you be without them?
nowhere.
Yeah, right. And people don't realize that. They think you just load your car up and you go to the racetrack every Friday, and that's all there is to it. Okay, how about you, Greg? Who helps and who's your sponsors?
Well, Matt and Chip worked real hard this winter on figuring out my engine issues. I think they figured something out. Looks, other than that, I mean, I got Junior. He'll show up to the track on a Friday once in a while. So
Yeah.
other than that, I'm in the pits by myself, basically.
All right. How about sponsorship?
Mac Construction, Rick Simon Electric, 9 Square Flooring, Fastline Plumbing, and Sarah. My witch doctor.
Your witch doctor. All right, Thunderstruck would be a good intro song, by the way. Okay, so now, Seth, you've already said you don't do a lot of traveling as much anymore, but this weekend, all the local tracks, none of them are racing. Do you have plans to race this weekend?
Mine's gonna stay in the garage. I plan on racing tomorrow night, and it canceled. It's an important weekend for our family with Memorial Day coming up, so I'm gonna work Saturday till noon, and I'm going to the lake, and I'm gonna do nothing till Tuesday.
What lake you go to?
Union Lake.
Oh, cool. I grew up on Union Lake. Union
cool.
and Sarah both. And you playing it by ear with Mother Nature, but you're willing to go wherever you have to, aren't you?
Right.
So what are you thinking?
Well, closest track would be tomorrow, maybe Montevideo. We'll just have to see how they're doing. Saturday, maybe Jamestown for their opener. Then Watertown on Sunday. And then Lisbon for their opener on the Street Stock Tour.
That's a lot of miles. I mean, how far is Montevideo?
It's about 4 hours, right?
Something like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I was there last weekend visiting family in Cal. The races there last week. It was a heck of a night. That's just big fan of that track out there.
Well, I would go to Alex. I just don't have the gears for it. So
Okay.
they got the 2-day show with the Street Stock Tour show starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or
So when
Saturday.
when you go crisscrossing and zigzagging all over like this, where do you stay? Do you even come back to Grand Forks, or are you sleeping in your hauler or motels? What do you do?
It's a play it by ear. I got an air mattress for the trailer, or
Sure.
or the truck's got heat, or there might be a hotel around. So just all depends.
Okay, Josh Barker, going to be a fun weekend. Can't wait. Jeff Liebrick, why doesn't this not surprise me? I once won a 12-pack of Busch Lattes at Big Daddy's doing karaoke to Garth Brooks' Friends in Low Places in Elmer Fudd's voice. Backed it up with Riders on the Storm from Jim Morrison. Wow, you are all over the place, Liebrick. That explains a lot to me, and absolutely love both of those
I think
artists,
that's a
too.
whole new definition of making it your own.
Making it your own.
I do-
Wascooey Wabbit.
I do have a last question for both of you. It's interesting how you brought up Bristol earlier being one of the favorite races. What do you think how NASCAR, the last 2 years they did dirt on Bristol. They aren't doing it this year. Would you like to see them try and improve that, still do some tweaks to keep it going, or sad to see it go? What's your stance on that? See some dirt track representation for the big boy NASCAR Cups?
I think all their tracks should be dirt.
Yeah. Now you're talking to a different breed here. My opinion, and you can chime in on this too. Dirt should be dirt. Asphalt's for getting to the races on dirt. I'm a NASCAR. I was a huge NASCAR fan until Dale Earnhardt died tragically. I quit watching it for a couple of years. I'm not all for the way they run NASCAR now. I'm not a big stage fan and things like that. But I think NASCAR, I don't mind if they run the street courses or the road courses or do whatever, but I think they should stay the hell away from dirt. That's just my opinion. A lot of these guys started in dirt. Kyle Larson's loving stuff like this, but whenever they got to bring a hot shoe in, whenever they bring a driver in that's not part of the team like they used to do on the road courses, at first they'd bring in the Boris Sads and the guys like that didn't race. But I don't think they should do it. Do you like the fact that they're putting dirt on tracks like this and running NASCAR?
I don't really like the NASCAR on dirt, but I do think it's super cool. Vogel last year, the year before, went to Bristol with his street stock and kept up pretty well with the stock cars.
Yeah.
So I think there's a case to be made that even in the short term that some of these tracks could do it if they can finance or make it make sense.
Right.
But I think NASCAR they need to stick to their own deal. They're not set up for it.
Yeah, and Donnie Schatz running the trucks last year on dirt. I think he ran one last year on dirt, but that's all right. Josh Barker, NASCAR is missing the ball. They should go to a track that's already dirt like Eldora or Knoxville. That makes a lot more sense for me. Hey, today you should have named the show Muddy Thursday. Well, we've got Dirty Thursday, Snurdy Thursday, and Muddy Thursday. Yeah, Mark, those cars don't belong on the dirt, and I absolutely agree with you. To me, it doesn't matter. Racing's racing. I've said this a billion times. I'll stop and watch 3 kids racing each other on tricycles in their driveway. I don't care. I'm going to wait and see who's going to be the winner because that's just the way I'm kind of wired. But anything before we cut you guys loose that we didn't talk about today?
I don't think so. Just grateful for all of you guys and the sport in general. I wish we could think of some ways to try to grow the sport a little bit. You know, you see in certain parts of the country, Iowa and wherever else, they have 50 cars in every class for $250 to win on a Friday.
Yeah.
What are we doing different here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know if it's the people or the culture or what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit nervous for our sport, to be honest with you. And I think we as drivers need to be proud of our ability to, and we're doing this for the fans. And think of this in a positive light all the time. Talk positive, and not let the negatives get involved. From the racers to the promoter side of things, I think would be really good for us long term.
Right. How about you?
Well, I think Seth just needs to let somebody drive his car one time, and we'll get another guy out there.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good idea. You know, do like they do at Forks Karting Association. But who wants to do that? It's like me, and I hit this a little bit earlier in the show. I've had many chances to hot lap cars, and I just won't because I usually have 2 or 3 beers in me, something like that. So I won't. But one day maybe. NASCAR should take the windshields out and put tear-offs on. That's another great idea. Shout out to Dale for filming at FKA last night. That was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Man, they're turning that into a really good show.
I mentioned it last week after we went off the air, but I should mention a good thing to kind of follow up with you, Seth, on great ways to grow the sport is they announced a sequel to the follow-up to the World of Outlaws dirt racing video game just last week. And, kids love games. That could be a great way for them to get introduced and, maybe scratch that itch to be like, hey, maybe this is something, a path to follow down. So, yeah, it's going to be World of Outlaws dirt racing 2025 edition. I believe it's coming out this September. And Donnie Schatz is got the cover treatment, and he's actually going to be featured in the game, be like your mentor in the game, the career mode. So it's
that'll be cool.
Heck of a good deal.
I know I got somebody had reached out to me yesterday. Apparently there is another new sprint car game in the works, and they were wondering if we'd be interested at River City Speedway and possibly helping out and doing something for that. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it'll be kind of cool. I might have to get back into doing that stuff on the computers. We're gonna have to go. Are you a fisherman? Do you do any of that kind of stuff?
I haven't since I started racing.
Okay. One of these days, middle of the week, when you get a time off, let's go do some catfishing. I mean, it's catfishing. We don't eat them, but you have a hell of a time when you catch one of them 20-pounders. Scott Iverson, 2-3 beers. Wait minutes, John. You meet 5-6 beers. Come on. I don't have that many. Well, maybe I do. You guys, we wish you a happy Memorial Day weekend. I'm glad we got you in the studio. You were here, I think, probably year 1 of the show.
May of 2020.
Okay, so yeah, it would have been our first year. You've changed since then. You seem like you're a lot more happy-go-lucky, maybe.
Very much so.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons for that we don't talk about on the air, but
Right. But you
grateful for all of them.
Yeah, and you can see it in your eyes and you can hear it in your voice. So congratulations to whatever's working for you, man. First time I've really got to talk to you, and I feel bad because I don't get to talk to everybody. I mean, I say your name 1,000,000 times a year, and I could walk up to you in the pits, and I would know who you are, but it'd been tough. I'd have to think a little bit, and that's too bad. I wish I had more time. You guys, thank you for spending part of your day with us. It's not easy to just tell work, hey, do you mind if I go humor these guys in the studio for a while? But we sure appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And we will see you guys, well, hopefully a week from tomorrow. All right. There you go. Dirty Thursday brought to you by Rumors Sports Bar and Casino right here in the Grand Cities Mall. BT, Jake, Scotty, the whole crew over there. You want to go watch the Minnesota Timberwolves or the NHL playoffs? That's the place to do it right over there. Here's what you do. You go get yourself a meal, all right? They've got great lunch specials, $7 express lunch. You get yourself a beer tower, and you watch one of the 9,000 TVs they've got in there. In fact, sandwich it aside for just $7 today. Tomorrow, $9, any pizza. Rumor Sports Bar and Casino. There's always lots of good stuff going on there. Stop in and check it out. I can see it right across the hall from us here. Hey, Big Screens and TV Streams is on at 1 o'clock today. We've got Fork Sports Highway with Bill and Monty and that whole crew there at 6:30. And the Brew Brothers podcast. If you like beer, you're going to like that one. That's at 9 o'clock. I'll catch you tomorrow. Remember to like, share, tag, and follow us. Hit that notification bell on your smartphone. You never miss a show that way. All you Canadian watchers up there, great to hear from you. Daryl and all the boys, we'll see you in a few weeks. You know, we know the Forks are awesome. Grand Forks' best source is giving them an identity again.